Good morning. Welcome to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you're toking up and tuning in. We're going to have a great show today. I've got some friends up here that I think you're going to like. Lovely Mae West. Ma'am, it's so great to see you this morning.
Good to be here.
And we got my good friend Marshal Rooster Cogburn.
You finally got it right, Pilgrim. He's been calling me sheriff. I thought the next time a good pistol whipping will help him remember.
Well, you got an upgrade with me then, didn't you?
Yes, you did.
All right.
Yeah.
And we got Mae West security over here, Shotgun Sam.
Yeah, show him that shotgun there.
All right, yeah. I like
Is that's a permissible on your podcast here?
I guess.
It is
We don't
now.
ask a lot of permission here, Rooster. You know how it is.
Well,
Okay,
I try to uphold the law, you know.
We do. That's what I do.
And that is why that I did not use marijuana until it was legal.
Right on. There you go. Well, now, I was one of these people, I did a lot of research before it was legal.
Well, now, Pilgrim, I can say that because my other job was being a research professor in the social studies. Now, I bet you didn't have the credentials to do that research, but that's all right.
No.
I ain't judging you. It's legal now, that's all that matters.
I said my research was non-government funded, non-documented, just wild, right on research.
Well, okay.
Now,
That was kind of a running joke at the college. As you know, we met actually as me proclaiming to be the hemp marshal of Pawnee Nation College, because we were looking at growing industrial hemp for construction material purposes and things like that, and the non-THC stuff.
Right.
And to generate some revenue on Indian land to help with expenses, and especially for the college. And we tried a couple of projects, and it's still kind of ongoing, but a lot of things hit a snag for a whole lot of reasons, weather and different things like that. And now I'm retiring, as Rooster would say. I'm retired, relieved, and rejoicing.
Cool. Now, everybody knows I love hemp just as much as I love cannabis, because I say look around the room and look at all the stuff we can replace that with hemp.
Well, actually, and I have. We weren't going to talk about this, but anyway,
Oh, no, we weren't.
I've got some hemp towels.
Really?
Yes, and I highly recommend them. Now they're expensive, but let me tell you about it. They look just like a paper towel.
Yeah.
But they won't tear, and you can wash them.
Really? Now, that's because hemp is a long fiber, right?
Yeah, and of course they're perforated. You can pull them apart, but oh my gosh, they're very soft. They're great for. In fact, I used one this morning. Wiping down. It's better than a paper towel in a car.
Yeah.
Because the paper will tear,
Right.
With this. But I've looked into several products, industrial hemp, and I wanted to get my good friend, you know him, Michael McGuire.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my ceiling blown in with insulation. The hemp insulation doesn't have to be treated.
Right.
And it's better insulation, and it's more fire-proof.
I agree. See, I've got
Fire
cellulose in my ceiling, and
Yeah.
if I could have put hemp in there, I'd have jumped right on that.
And see, that's another thing we were looking at to college is growing hemp for that very purpose. No THC. We'll leave all that up to the folks.
Right. That's my side.
Yeah, we'll leave it up to you and your folks. But that's what we were looking at.
Because hempcrete, I love hempcrete, because we go back and look at all the roads that were built with hempcrete, and a lot of them are still in good shapes now.
But that wasn't why we came.
Wasn't why did we come, Marshall? What's going on?
Well, I'm going to tell you about the Smithsonian Traveling Exhibit. Now, you folks that don't read newspapers or listen to legitimate newscast sources, you may not know that the Smithsonian is already here in Oklahoma, visiting several small towns. And the name of their traveling exhibit is called What's Going On in Rural America?
Cool.
And so they chose, you had to be under 5,000 people. And Pilgrim, if I ask you this simple question, what's the best little town under 5,000? You better get the answer right the first time. In Oklahoma.
Okay, we're going to go to the audience for this one, and it's...
Starts with a P.
Pawnee.
That was my second answer. Handlers.
Now, Pilgrim, you might have taken a couple
You know
extra
how
puffs.
simple I
You might have taken a couple extra puffs this morning.
You
Now I'm
sure
going to let
did.
that one slide for that reason. But Pawnee,
Pawnee.
it was
that-
once ranked number 8 in the nation for authentic Western towns.
Okay.
It has the number 1 state park, Pawnee Bill Wild West Show, and if you pilgrims didn't know this, HGTV, Home and Garden
Right.
Television, in 2019 decided, well, we can make over houses, we can make over small towns.
Really?
Now listen, Pilgrim. So they said, we're going to have a small town makeover. You had to be under a certain size, and you had to be special.
Yeah.
Well, Pilgrim, you may want to throw this to your audience again. Who do you think made the top 10 in that list? In America! Not Oklahoma, but in America.
In America,
Pawnee.
Pawnee.
Oh, yeah.
Your audience is awful smart.
They're a lot smarter than I am, Marshall.
So, we had to do some shooting and videotaping and stuff, to promote. And this really happened. They called me up 30 minutes before they were going to shoot. And I live 15 miles out in the wildlands of Pawnee County. And they said, Rooster, can you be here in 15 minutes? And we only got 30 to shoot this. Shoot what? Well, the intro to the Home and Garden intro for their fall season.
Cool. Okay, I'll tell you what now, Rooster. We need to take a short break. We're going to do a cliffhanger on that right there.
It came from John Wayne movies.
Did it really?
Cliffhangers. Actually, yes, they did, Pilgrim.
Okay, cool. Well, there you go. Okay, you're watching Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you toke up and tune back in.
Compare to my swag, got finesse and ran up a bag. If I get a check, tryna double it back. I gotta put where I'm from on the map. Learned a whole lot where I came from.
Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you're toking up and tuning back in because you know I do. I've been sitting here talking to my good friend Marshall Rooster Cogburn, and he had a great story going. What you got going on now?
Well, I was telling you about the last time. Well, we were shooting a clip for the Home and Garden TV. I only had a few minutes to prepare, and in fact, they just handed me the script and said, we got to do it, and the guy's got to leave. So, but spur of the moment type thing, don't bother me much. So they said, give a history of Pawnee. Well, I gave a history of Pawnee. It was on the piece of paper, but I knew it anyway. I added a couple things they left out. And now end it with this line, which they'll put in the front. You know, like you guys, you know,
Yeah.
move things around.
Edited and stuff.
Welcome to Pawnee, Oklahoma, where the West remains. That's our motto. It's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Ranks up there with Tombstone.
Yeah.
Town too tough to die.
Too tough.
And so they said, okay, we're done. We're gonna. There was no second takes. There was, you know, it was just hurried up and got over there and got, okay. And all this was done in front of the Buffalo Theater, which I was the proud owner of then. And so, fast forward a few weeks, and I start getting these calls and people sending me videos. I said, what's up? And they said, well, they made a 20-second intro to their Home and Garden fall season with the top 10. And who was in the top 10, audience?
Pawnee.
Pawnee. Well, who gets first place? Who gets the first? Let's see. Let me word this right for the audience. You know, I say it's part of that research. You got to word things right. You got to word them right. Who you think would have got the most coverage in that 20 seconds?
Rooster Cogburn.
I'm going with Rooster. I'm going with Rooster.
There's two answers, Rooster or Pawnee, but I tip either one. So you listen to the top 10. Okay, when we were, by the way, we were number 8. And so they all say that, they say their little town, they had people in it, all videos, and they get to the very end, and I say, welcome to Pawnee, Oklahoma, where the West remains. I'm the only one you can hear, and I'm the last one you'll remember in that whole clip, and it was showed every beginning of every episode in the fall season of Home and Garden TV.
Wow.
And I apologize to my listening audience here for taking time away from my good friend. Your hat's blocking.
Oh yeah! I tell you what,
So move her.
I will move anything because May West. We set this up where May would be sitting next to me, man.
I'm going to be quiet for a while.
If I need to remove my hat, I will. 'Cause
No, you look fine.
thank you. Now I know I got to be careful in front of Shotgun Sam over here what I say, but you know I'm going to be flirting with you, young
Yeah,
lady.
you better be careful.
He's harmless.
You're my kind of young lady.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yes, ma'am. Now where are you going at now?
In April, we're going to be in Pawnee.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was shooting for.
We're going to be in Pawnee
Okay.
on the 23rd, and we are having a what did you call that? So I can,
Celebrity poker, for one thing.
Oh yeah, the celebrity poker. Now are you going to be playing in that?
not necessarily.
Are you going to be there?
Yes,
These questions, you know.
I will be there.
Okay, cool. Because I might be there. I'm going to try to be there because I will be up there in that area the weekend before at the Castillo Farms 4F Growth Contest.
Okay.
So I will try to hold over because, ma'am, I got to come see you again.
You just come up and see me sometime.
Just seeing.
Now she's touching me. I'm not touching her.
Well, if you looked on my Facebook page, you'll see Shotgun Sam and U.S. Marshal Rooster Cogburn getting on to a feller that accepted, how do I say that, May? You were sitting on his lap, but we're not going to have no shenanigans like that at all at these
I
poker.
could have had May sitting on my lap.
Well, you
But-
may still have it.
Yes, ma'am. May I may.
He's only got one eye.
Oh, that's right. I can be on his left side. Now, I want to say, I do love y'all's outfits. Ma'am, you're just fantastic. I love it. And everybody else, period. Now, like I said, I did change 3 times for you today, and I did shave, too.
Oh, well, you look really fine to me.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I can clean up on a Sunday pretty good
You
sometimes.
do a good job. But yeah, we'll be there in April, there in Pawnee, and I will be somewhere about. I may not be playing poker because
Right.
I really don't know how.
But
Well-
she won't have to know how. All she has to do is show up at the table. She may be dealing.
Well, ma'am, I can show you a certain way to play poker. I know several ways to play poker.
Now, it better not have involved the word that starts with S.
Oh, no, Marshall, I'd never do that with May. No, never.
Well, I don't think you'd survive if you did.
She's got security right here, and you, Marshall.
That's right. I got my good friend.
Yeah.
Now, y'all gonna have several. You're gonna do several things up there. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun, like you said. You got the poker. We're gonna have several events the weekend before. So, like I say, I can probably hang over and have a blast.
Yeah. And May will probably be doing some of the dealing.
Oh, that would be cool.
And I think it'll drop this bombshell on you too. Miss Kitty Russell will also be there.
Okay. Be
Now,
still my heart. May West and Kitty Russell. Okay, I've got to come. I've got to come up there. You bet.
Yeah, we'll
Now-
have double security. The guy out there, you can grab him.
I know they're both going to be watching me. Now, are tickets to get in there? How can-
I ain't got it all ready yet, Pilgrim.
Okay, I understand.
I still hadn't decided on the number of shows, but we are doing it more than once, and we are doing it at the Stone Wolf Casino. Definitely on Saturday night. We haven't got the time nailed down,
Right.
but it's going to cost you. But they're offering some perks along with that ticket to get a chance to get a actual photograph, printed out photograph with the folks that we have there. And they're going to give you a $10 free play and
Cool.
free drinks, and plus a chance to sit and actually play poker with me and Buffalo Bill and Doc Holliday. Did I mention Doc?
No, you hadn't brought Doc up yet.
Well, he might be there too. And of course, Miss Kitty.
Miss Kitty, yes, sir.
And you can, and that's what you got your attention on my Facebook.
Well, May,
page.
yeah, Miss Kitty, she's
I
spitting
put
a
her
lot
up
of
before I
views.
ran May back. See, May's been on my Facebook page for the last, how long have we been working together? At least 10 years.
Yeah,
At least.
at least 10.
At least 10 years.
Give or take a couple.
Yeah.
Tune in tomorrow
Yeah.
at 11.
So,
Okay, I'll tell you what, on that right there, we're going to take another short break. Ma'am, I'm so glad I get to talk to you, and Chuck and Sam can't see me.
What was that?
Okay, you're watching Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you toke up and tune back in.
They can't compare to my swag. Don't have finesse and ran up a bag. If I get a check, tryna double it back. I gotta put where I'm from on the map. Learned a whole lot where I came from. They can't compare to my swag. Don't have finesse and ran up a bag. If I get a check, tryna double it back. I gotta put where I'm from on the map. Learned a whole lot where I came from.
Man.
What? In the DeLorean, I'm smoking flower and I'm going 88 miles an hour. They told me to stop, but I got too much power. Went back to the future and figured it out, yeah. We figured it out, yeah. We figured it out.
Welcome back to Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you toke up and tune back in, because I'm sitting here talking to some good friends. I got Mae West right here, and my good friend Marshall Rooster Cogburn. We got a lot of things going on. Okay, Rooster, you gave me a card right here. I've got to show this on how people can contact you.
Well, yeah, the best way to get a hold of me is to find me on Facebook.
Right?
And if you put Rooster Cogburn or my AKA Clarence Benish, and that's hard to pronounce and spell if you don't do it right, because my first name is, if you put this in, I'll come up every time. CLARANCE, and then you'll see
Rooster.
You'll see Rooster with somebody. I got a photo of a bunch of my fellow acting friends there, but I'll be there. And my little icon is me.
Okay.
You can find me easy. If you can't find me on Facebook, well, you're not much of a tracker.
Not much of a tracker. That's what I was going to say.
You're a worse tracker than a one-eyed fat man. But
okay, and do you have a website too?
Well, I just want people to go to the Facebook.
Okay, I understand.
Now, we were going to talk about the Smithsonian.
Right.
8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks they're going to be in Pawnee.
Really?
Yes, they're already in the state at some other little second-rate town.
Right.
But they decided to spend most of their time at the #1 state park and in one of the top 10 authentic western towns in the nation.
Pawnee.
And the only town that has Pawnee-built Wild West show, world-class rodeo. I mean, people who go to the Pawnee Rodeo and win prizes go to Vegas for national championships.
Oh, cool.
I've seen it happen myself.
Yeah.
And, of course, downtown you got the Buffalo Theater, which has shown the likes of me as Rooster, Father Time. We're the only city, town in Oklahoma that does the New Year's Eve party right. We have a big old bonfire. We've got Father Time, yours truly, the only one that has Father Time. And we have the ball drop, like New York City, coming down this huge, long flagpole that my uncle put up about 50 years ago on the square there. It's just a glory. And black-eyed peas is served in hot chocolate. And we have a grand time out there. New Year's Eve. You come next year. Into this
I
year.
need to check some stuff like that out.
Yeah.
That...
And in fact, when I was preparing for that HGTV, one of the things they had in the longer version, but not in the condensed version, I mentioned, we've got 25 events on our chamber page.
Really?
Now, you do the math, and some of you may not be too good at it. Well, that's more than 2 a month.
Yeah.
So we were keeping off business still. But anyway, the Smithsonian's going to be parking their traveling exhibit in the Pawnee barn. And the town graciously gave me the weekend of 22, 23, 24. But 23 specifically because they let me do an event out there on the Pawnee ground for the folks that come to see the exhibit of the Smithsonian. And that event that I'm working on the details is a historical performance of the last, the killing of the last great outlaw. And that's what the title of the lecture series by Professor Fred Staff, who's coming up from Bolivia to do this. He's an Oklahoma native, Pawnee, born and raised. His first theater he went to was the Buffalo Theater, and that's why the Buffalo Theater hosted the world premiere of Hell on the Border. The movie's about Bass Reeves, because he wrote a trilogy of books on Bass Reeves. And by the way, did I mention that Bass Reeves would be there also?
No, you didn't.
Well, sometimes my list gets too long and I forget part of it. Bass Reeves is going to be there that weekend.
Uh-huh.
And the Comanche, Miss
Mae
Kitty,
West.
Mae West, Buffalo Bill, and Comanche War Pony. If you don't know him, you will when I talk a little bit about what he has done in his career. He's that Comanche that gets shot off the horse in most of the old movies, and he still has the horse, and he still can fall off of it.
Really?
And he's played a Comanche in movies. He's also played a Pawnee in a movie, which is good because he's coming down in Pawnee country. Pawnee being the capital of the Pawnee Nation.
Right.
You know, there would be no Pawnee without the Pawnees. They were there first, before the city was. They came down in 1872 to 74, the removal, which was another shameful trail of tears.
Oh, yeah.
But, and by the way, when they were asking me, you know, I told you I had no time to prepare. They handed me the script, which I didn't really use. They said, tell us the history of Pawnee. I said, it begins with the Pawnee Nation.
Naturally.
I teach at Pawnee Nation College, and I got to give them the due that a lot of people seem to forget. It was the Pawnees, and it was the Indians that made this great state too. Long before us immigrants. I'm a grandson of an immigrant. In fact, my grandmother, who died where I live, right now, my homestead, she died there 3 years before I was born. She came to this country in 1879 as a 9-year-old girl with her 11-year-old brother. Just the two of those immigrants.
Oh, wow.
And they were told, I have the steamer trunk that they used.
Really?
They drug across Europe because they were in Moravia, which is Central Europe, part of the Czech Republic now. They had to find a seaport. You had to go north-south, east, north or south, and then get to New York. And then when they got to New York, they said, well, now I'll go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And this was 3 years after Custer's last stand, and Wild West was still very wild.
Yeah.
Well, she did. Her and her brother made it, and she married another Czech later on. She got older and had my dad. So I've got roots to the immigrants. Also got roots to the Native Americans because one of my grandnieces married a Pratt, who was one of the former presidents, not the former president, but that's the name, the family name of one of the former presidents of Pawnee Nation. I'm really proud, and I hope they're proud of me too, the Pawnees, because I taught there almost 10 years at Pawnee Nation College. One of two colleges, tribal colleges, still left in Oklahoma.
Right on. Well, I'll tell you what, Rooster, I love that. You know how much I love history. If you don't know history, you don't know what's going to happen. So on that right there, we're going to have to end Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I've been sitting here talking to Mae West and my good friend Marshall Rooster Cogburn. Not Sheriff, Marshall Rooster Cogburn. All right, cool. Wake and Bake with Old School and Co. I hope you have a good time.